Picture this. You've cooked at home for years, but your kitchen still feels like a daily fight. The rice comes out gummy, the vegetables turn limp, your knife crushes everything instead of slicing it, and cleanup somehow takes longer than the meal. Now, what if I told you Japanese home cooks solved every one of these problems generations ago with simple tricks they treat as completely obvious? Today, we are counting down 27 clever Japanese cooking tricks that will genuinely make your life easier. And by the time we reach number 1, the way you move around your own kitchen is going to change for good. Let's get into it. Number 27, wet your fingers before handling rice. Grab sticky rice with dry hands and you end up with a gluey mess welded to every finger. Japanese cooks keep a small bowl of water with a splash of rice vinegar beside them and dip their fingertips before touching the rice. The thin film of water stops the starch from bonding to your skin, so the grains slide off cleanly. It is the exact trick behind perfectly shaped onigiri rice balls. Number 26. Salt your cutting board before slicing fish. Scatter a little salt across the wooden board before laying a fillet down. The salt grips the slippery skin and stops the fish from sliding as your knife moves through it, so you get cleaner, safer cuts, while the surface seasons lightly at the same time. Number 25. Toast your nori over an open flame. Straight from the package, nori seaweed is often soft and flat. Wave a sheet over a low gas flame for a few seconds on each side until it crisps and deepens in color. Toasting drives off absorbed moisture and wakes up the ocean aroma, turning dull seaweed into something crackling and fragrant. Number 24. Freeze ginger and grate it from frozen. Fresh ginger is a nightmare to peel and grate when soft and fibrous. Japanese cooks freeze whole ginger root, then grate it straight from the freezer on a fine grater. Frozen ginger shaves into a fluffy pulp, the peel vanishes into the grate, and the root lasts for months instead of shriveling in your drawer. Number 23. Use cold dashi steeping overnight instead of boiling. Rush dashi stock by boiling kombu kelp and bonito flakes hard, and it turns bitter and cloudy. Drop a piece of kombu into a jar of cold water and leave it in the refrigerator overnight. The slow, cold extraction pulls clean glutamate flavor out of the kelp without any of the harsh bitterness that high heat creates. You wake up to a clear, deeply savory stock with zero effort. Number 22. Cut vegetables on the diagonal for faster cooking. Slicing carrots, scallions, and burdock at a steep angle is not just for looks. The diagonal cut exposes more surface area than a straight chop, so the vegetable cooks faster and soaks up more sauce, which is why stir-fried vegetables in Japanese kitchens cook through evenly without turning to mush. Number 21. Score the back of shrimp to keep them straight. Shrimp curl into tight balls when they hit heat, which makes them cook unevenly. Make a few shallow cuts along the inner belly of each shrimp before cooking. Severing those fibers stops the curl, so the shrimp stays long and straight and cooks uniformly end to end, like the golden prawns in a tempura shop. Number 20. Add a splash of mayonnaise to your omelet. This sounds strange, but Japanese cooks stir a small spoonful of mayonnaise into beaten eggs before making tamagoyaki. The oil and vinegar keep the eggs tender and stop them from drying into rubber over heat, giving you a fluffier, softer omelet that stays moist even after it cools. Number 19. Rinse your rice until the water runs clear. This is not just habit. Unwashed rice is coated in loose surface starch that turns your finished pot gluey and clumped. Cover the rice with cold water, swirl it gently with your hand, pour off the cloudy water, and repeat until it runs nearly clear. The grains cook up separate, glossy, and distinct instead of stuck together in a sticky mass. Number 18. Soak rice before cooking, not just rinse it. After washing, let the rice sit in its cooking water for 30 minutes before you turn on the heat. The grains absorb moisture evenly all the way to the core, so they cook through without a hard, undercooked center. It is the difference between restaurant rice and a chalky, undercooked center. Number 17. Use a wooden lid pressed right onto the food. Japanese kitchens use a drop lid called an otoshibuta that sits directly on top of simmering food. It pushes the liquid up and over everything evenly, so flavors penetrate without you stirring and breaking delicate pieces apart. No wooden lid? A circle of parchment with a hole in the center does the same job. Number 16. Salt your eggplant before cooking. Raw eggplant is a sponge that soaks up oil and turns greasy and bitter. Sprinkle the cut pieces with salt, wait 15 minutes, then squeeze out the dark liquid that beads on the surface. Drawing out that moisture collapses the sponge structure so the eggplant fries up silky instead of oily, and the bitterness leaves with the liquid. Number 15. Chill your noodles in ice water after boiling. When making cold soba or somen, do not just drain and rinse. Plunge the noodles into ice water and rub them gently with your hands. The shock stops the cooking instantly, and the rubbing strips away surface starch, giving you a firm, springy bite instead of a soft, sticky tangle. Number 14. Keep 2 kinds of soy sauce, not 1. Most kitchens own a single bottle of dark soy sauce. Japanese cooks also keep a light-colored soy sauce called usukuchi, which is actually saltier but far paler. They use the light one for clear soups where dark soy would muddy the color, and the dark one where deep color is the goal. The right bottle keeps your broth clean instead of murky brown. Number 13. Massage salt into cucumbers before serving. For a crisp Japanese cucumber salad, slice the cucumber thin, sprinkle it with salt, and massage it for a minute before letting it rest. The salt pulls out excess water through osmosis, concentrating the flavor and giving you a snappy crunch instead of a watery, diluted bite once the dressing goes on. Number 12. Sear miso, never boil it. The most common miso soup mistake is dumping miso paste into boiling broth. High heat destroys the living cultures and the delicate aroma that make miso taste alive. Pull the pot off the heat first, then dissolve the miso into the warm broth through a small strainer. You keep the gentle fragrance and smooth body that boiling flattens into something dull. Number 11. Use a metal spoon to peel ginger and vegetables. Forget the peeler for knobby ginger. Scrape the skin off with the edge of a regular metal spoon, which glides over every bump and curve, removing only the thin, papery skin while wasting none of the flesh underneath. It works on new potatoes and young carrots, too. Number 10. Cook fish skin side down and barely flip it. Nervous cooks flip fish constantly, which tears the flesh and ruins the crisp skin. Lay the fillet skin side down, press it flat so it does not curl, and leave it almost the entire cook, flipping only once near the end. You get shatteringly crisp skin and moist flesh in one clean piece. Number 9. Pour boiling water over chicken before stewing it. Before adding chicken to a simmered dish, pour boiling water over the raw pieces or blanch them for 30 seconds, then rinse. This step, called shimofuri, washes away the surface scum and blood that would cloud your broth, so the finished stew comes out clear and clean tasting instead of murky and gamey. Number 8. Stand your knife up and let weight do the cutting. Western cooks tend to saw back and forth. Japanese knives are designed to be pulled towards you in one smooth stroke, letting the sharp, thin blade and gravity do the work. Stop pressing down and start drawing the blade back through the food. Your cuts get cleaner, your vegetables stop bruising, and your hand stops aching. Number 7. Rest tempura batter cold and lumpy on purpose. Everything you learned about smooth batter is wrong for tempura. Mix ice-cold water into the flour with chopsticks for a few seconds and leave the lumps in. Over-mixing develops gluten, which makes the coating chewy and heavy. The cold, lumpy batter fries into that impossibly light, lacy, shattering crust that defines real tempura. Number 6. Salt fish 20 minutes before cooking, then pat it dry. Salt a fillet and walk away for 20 minutes. The salt draws beads of moisture to the surface, carrying off the fishy odor compounds with it. Wipe the fillet completely dry, and now it seasons evenly, browns properly, and tastes clean instead of flat and fishy. This is the quiet step behind every perfectly grilled fish in Japan. Number 5. Make instant pickles in 20 minutes with the bag. You do not need weeks to pickle vegetables. Toss sliced cucumber, cabbage, or radish into a zip bag with a pinch of salt and a strip of kombu, press out the air, and massage it. In 20 minutes, the salt has drawn out the water and seasoned the vegetable into a fresh, crisp, quick pickle called asazuki, turning leftovers into a side dish on demand. Number 4. Test oil temperature by dropping in a speck of batter. No thermometer needed for frying. Drop a tiny bit of tempura batter into the oil and watch. If it sinks to the bottom and rises slowly, the oil is too cool. If it sizzles halfway down and rises, it is right around the perfect frying temperature. If it never sinks at all and skitters on top, the oil is too hot. Generations of cooks have judged frying this way with nothing but their eyes. Number 3. Layer your flavors in a strict order with a memory trick. Japanese seasoning follows a precise sequence summed up in 5 sounds. Sashi suse so, standing for sugar, salt, vinegar, soy sauce, and miso. Sugar goes first because its large molecules need time and take longest to penetrate. Salt comes next, then the aromatic liquids that would evaporate if added too early. Adding them out of order leaves the dish unbalanced no matter how much you taste and adjust. This single sequence is why Japanese simmered dishes taste so deeply, evenly seasoned. Number 2. Stack your umami sources instead of relying on one. Japanese cooking layers multiple sources of glutamate, the compound behind savory depth, rather than leaning on salt alone. Kombu kelp, dried bonito, and dried shiitake mushrooms each carry a different umami compound, and when you combine them, they multiply each other in a reaction called umami synergy. The result tastes exponentially more savory than any single ingredient could on its own. This is the invisible engine behind why a simple bowl of Japanese broth tastes so impossibly complete. And number 1, the trick that genuinely changes everything. Clean as you cook, treating your kitchen like a Japanese station where nothing is ever out of place. This sounds almost too simple to matter, but it is the single habit that separates effortless cooking from daily chaos. Japanese cooks practice a workflow where every tool is wiped and returned the moment it is done. Every scrap goes straight into one bowl, and the counter is reset between every step. You are never digging through clutter, never scrubbing dried food off a pan an hour later, never losing the knife under a pile of peels. The cooking itself becomes calm and fast because the space around it stays clear. Once you start working this way, every other trick on this list suddenly becomes easier to use, and cooking stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like something you actually want to do. And there you have it. 27 Japanese cooking tricks that make life in the kitchen easier, refined over generations by cooks who decided that good food and a calm kitchen should go hand in hand. Start with just 3 or 4 this week. Soak your rice, freeze your ginger, salt your fish, and reset your counter as you go. Your cooking will feel smoother and taste better almost immediately. If this video helped you, drop a comment telling me which trick you are trying first. Subscribe for more deep dives like this, and I will see you in the next one.